Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my videos. According to reports in Spain, Pau Torres is heading to Old Trafford. Now the Real Madrid president, Florentino Perez, is angry with Man United after entering the race for Pau Torres because Real Madrid were emerged as the favourites to sign him. We are preparing to put a bid in for him. We believe we can get Pau Torres for less than his £53 million release clause. Now, Pau Torres is a centre-half. He's left-footed. Do you think he'd go well alongside Harry Maguire in our back line? He's been at Villarreal for a long time. He's got a contract with them until 2024. He's one of our top defensive targets. He also had a loan spell with Malaga. He is the age of 24, so he's still got a lot of development in him. Now, there's 5 unhappy players after Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's contract extension. So, Martial, he's one of them. Eric Bay, he's one of them. Jesse Lingard, he's one of them. Brandon Williams, he's one of them. And Donnie Van Der Beek, he's one of them. Now Solskjaer is set to be awarded a new 3-year contract worth 30 million. It's likely to be 2 years with an option of an extra year. Solskjaer still going to be given this new contract even if we fail to win a trophy this season. Sources at Old Trafford did say not so long ago that talks are set to begin any day on the new deal because Ole is now into the final year of his current 3-year contract. But it did say earlier on this season that Solskjaer's future was in doubt because he admitted that nobody had spoke to him over a new contract. Does he deserve a new contract though? In some aspects, yeah. In some aspects, no. Our only chance of winning a trophy this season is the Europa League. We haven't won a trophy since 2017, and that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. A club of our stature needs to be winning trophies. Solskjaer did mention, though, not so long ago, that winning trophies is an ego thing, and he said that in regards to some other clubs and some other managers. And he says clubs like Man United, trophies no longer prove success. But for me, Solskjaer has to win a trophy because obviously that marks progress. Danny Murphy said not so long ago that Solskjaer will be sacked if he fails to win the Europa League. I can assure he isn't the long-term manager for Manchester United, but I can assure now he will be Man United manager in the summer and next season. Next season will be his 3rd full season at the club. This is his 2nd full season at the moment. I can assure we will finish in the top 4. I said that after our 1-0 win against West Ham. You know, if we finish 2nd this season in the league and we can win the Europa League, I'll turn around and say, yeah, that represents a good season for Man United and that gives us something to build on going on into next season. To be honest with you, it wouldn't really solve a lot if we sacked Solskjaer anyway, because as far as I'm aware at the moment, he is no one available. And when we have been inconsistent, not all of the blame has stemmed from him. It's never all the manager's fault. But yeah, I definitely think at some point we've got to get a bigger name, and we've got to get someone in who knows. We've got to get someone in who's got that big club arrogance, someone who's got a proven pedigree, and someone who would suit the strappings of the club. But there has been a lot of Manchester United fans demanding Ollie out. Ollie out was trending on social media not so long ago after our 3-1 defeat to Leicester in the FA Cup quarter final. The main explanation why Solskjaer is still Manchester United manager is because he is a club legend. I think disregarding being a club legend, he wouldn't have been here now. But reflecting how long he has been at the club, he has gained some managerial experience and he has learnt quite a bit on the job. Before he was with us, he was at Mulder. He won a few Norwegian titles at Mulder, but they're not a big club. And before he was at Mulder, he was at Cardiff, and his record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. He only enjoyed a short tenure with Cardiff. The main explanation he got sacked from Cardiff is because he ended up getting them relegated. Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Manchester United it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. And I do believe that he is in a position that he shouldn't be really in. We obviously appointed him in December 2018 to replace Jose Mourinho. In his first 3 months at the club, he was the interim manager. Did very, very well in that period. He won 14 games out of 19 in all competitions, so the club decided to give him the job permanently in March 2019, which was 2 years ago. Maybe you can say we're giving the job too soon. Maybe we should have waited until the end of that particular season to decide or not whether he would be the right candidate for the club. But Ollie's not only the issue at Manchester United. There's still some players at the club that are not good enough to represent the club. Our board's been one of the biggest issues for a while. Reflecting how poor our recruitment policy's been. We've also overpaid for players. And in general, the managers that we've had since Ferguson retired have not got the players that they wanted to recommend in. And mistakes have been made in the last 8 years, and that's why we haven't been as consistent as we'd like to have been. I will pinpoint a few mistakes out. Like I said, we made a mistake giving Solskjaer the job permanently. I think a lot of the players we've brought in the last 8 years haven't been the right calibre players for Man United, but maybe there's some who we brought in who did well and we let go and we should have kept them. Obviously, Sir Alex Ferguson made one mistake, and that was ever recommending David Moyes in at that time. So they are a few of the mistakes that Man United have made. But nothing's changed at Man United in the last 8 years. It's been an ongoing cycle of inconsistency. Obviously, we've sacked 3 managers since Ferguson retired. We sacked David Moyes after 10 months. He enjoyed the shortest tenure at the club. He's the worst manager we've ever had. We sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years despite him winning the FA Cup. And we sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years despite him winning the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield. Also got second place with us. I think it was in his first season. So Mourinho enjoyed one good season at Man United. You can probably say we got Mourinho in too late. Maybe we should have got him in when Ferguson retired. But the reasons it didn't work out under Mourinho is because he had bad disputes with the board, bad disputes with the top players. And in general, the board weren't backing the signings that he wanted to recommend in. But a lot of Man United fans predicted that we wasn't going to be the same team when Ferguson retired, and it's come true. No one's going to replicate what Ferguson did at the club. Ferguson brought success to Man United. He won 30-odd trophies, including 13 Premier League titles. and he enjoyed a 27-year tenure, so he was a long-serving manager, but he didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at the club. And in the last 8 years, we've spent over £1 billion on players. But I've got to say, in regards to Solskjaer, he's probably our best manager since Ferguson. You know, we've had some good games under Ollie. I think we've enjoyed very good periods under him where we've seen consistency in that. But we've also enjoyed very bad periods under him where you can turn around and say, yeah, he was lucky not to be sacked. We've got to credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in quite a few aspects. You know, he's made some good signings as Man United manager. He's spent almost £300 million. Obviously hasn't got all the players that he wanted to recommend in as yet. Solskjaer has enjoyed 4 transfer windows as permanent Man United manager. You know, he did well last season in his first full season, guided us to 3 semi-finals, got us qualification for the Champions League and got us a 3rd place finish. You know, this season, you know, got us to the EFL Cup semi-final, got us to the FA Cup quarter-final, he's got us to the Europa League quarter-final, also got a very good away record in the Premier League, haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. So we're 22 unbeaten away from home in the league. We was 28 unbeaten in all competitions until Leicester had beaten us in the FA Cup quarter-final. And we are second in the Premier League. At one point, Solskjaer got us top of the league for the first time in like 8 years. But there was a period where we dropped far too many points. So that's why we're no longer in the title race. And Solskjaer's got rid of a lot of players since he come in. And I also like the way he has promoted the youth. So you've got to credit him for that. This year's summer transfer window is huge for Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. In the summer transfer window, I'm expecting us to make around 3 or 4 signings. And I've already identified the weaknesses in the squad. We're looking to strengthen up in around 4 areas. Now, I reckon Solskjaer needs at least £200 million in the summer transfer window if he's to get the players that he wants in. Now, it said not so long ago that our transfer budget had been revealed and it was £80 million. We know £80 million is nowhere near enough for us to get the players we want to recommend in. Obviously, we're going to sell players, so in that aspect, we'll generate money and it'll help us with our rebuilding process. But I think in the transfer windows Ollie's enjoyed so far, he hasn't been backed enough by the board. You know, but Woodward has come out several times to show his support for Ollie. And even enjoying them bad periods, you know, he assured that Ollie's job was safe. Because our board have got a very soft stance on him. And Woodward's recently come out and said that Solskjaer is the right man to take the club forward. He did a statement earlier on this season saying that the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. So in that aspect, Woodward is backing him. But in the summer transfer window, I'm expecting Solskjaer to get the backing he deserves. Because obviously, we've got John Murtough as our Director of Football, and we've got Darren Fletcher as our Technical Director, and the duo know the club through thick and thin. And Solskjaer's already held negotiations with the new recruitment team. You know, he was talking about our transfer targets and our transfer plans for the summer in general. So obviously there's been a lot of players on our agenda. You know the news on Erling Haaland from Borussia Dortmund. Narratives have been coming out today saying that Borussia Dortmund have set their asking price for Erling Haaland. It's 154 million. Now, Solskjaer keeps calling Erling Haaland to persuade him to join Manchester United. Solskjaer did say earlier on this season that he was following Erling Haaland's progress and he's keeping in touch with Erling Haaland. Be good to see Solskjaer reunite with a player. You know, Solskjaer worked with Erling Haaland at Molde. Solskjaer gave him his debut at just the age of 16. Back in December 2019, Solskjaer and Woodward went to Norway to meet up with Haaland to negotiate a possible move to Man United. Now, Erling Haaland's father, Al Finch Haaland, has been talking about his son's career and his prospects. And he's spoken about him being linked with a move to Man United. Now, it recently said we had the advantage in the Erling Haaland transfer chase, but apparently Haaland favours a move to Real Madrid. Now, Haaland does have a £68 million release clause, but it doesn't become active until next year. But it'd be good if we got Haaland in because he'd dramatically improve us and he would assure us goals, and he's still young and he's got a lot of development in him, and plus he knows Solskjaer well. Haaland's been at Dortmund over a year. Dortmund paid just £17 million for him and he's got a contract with Dortmund until 2024. Mino Raiola, his agent, said earlier on this season that there's around 6 clubs in England that can afford him. Now, Pedro Nettle, we've been linked with him from Wolves. Now, it recently said we are considering a 50 million plus move for Pedro Nettle, and we're seeing him as an alternative to Jadon Sancho. Now, Pedro Nettle had a trial at Carrington back in 2016, but didn't impress enough for us to get him on the board. His performances for Wolves have been outstanding. He's got a contract with Wolves until 2025. Wolves paid around £18 million for him from Lazio. He was on loan at Lazio for a while, and actually Lazio got him permanently. And just after that, then Wolves got him. Before he was at Lazio, he was at Braga. He's predominantly a right winger, just the age of 21. Obviously, there's been a lot of narratives coming out regarding Raphael Varane from Real Madrid. It looks very likely that Raphael Varane is going to leave Real Madrid. He's not signed a new contract with them. Mundo Deportivo recently said that Raphael Varane's future is in doubt and apparently is high on our transfer wish list. I think he's valued in the £60-odd million range. It says earlier on this season that Real Madrid were prepared to sell Raphael Varane on one condition: he must inform Real Madrid on his decision to leave. Back in 2018, Woodward was prepared to sanction a £100 million move for Varane. But yeah, I'd certainly take him at Man United, world-class centre-half. You know, he'd go very well alongside Maguire in our back line. He's the age of 27, so he's highly experienced. Hasn't played in the Premier League as yet, but he comes to the Premier League, he will exceed expectations. Varane's been at Real Madrid since 2011, so he's been there now a good 10 years. He's made over 300 appearances, he's won 18 major honours. You know, Real Madrid paid €10 million for him from Lens. Raphael Varane's under contract with Real Madrid until 2022. Jules Koundé, you know, he's been on our agenda. He's one of our top defensive targets alongside Pau Torres. Now, the last time I read up regarding Jules Koundé, it said that we'd been handed a boost in our bid to sign him because Sevilla had reduced their asking price for Koundé to £50 million. Originally, they was demanding 70 million plus add-ons. There was narratives coming out earlier on this season saying that we was unwilling to meet his £68 million release clause, but we was prepared to pay around 61 million. And he said earlier on this season we were the favourites to sign him, but his performances for Sevilla have been outstanding. He's been at Sevilla almost 2 years. Sevilla paid £22 million for him from Bordeaux in the summer of 2019. He's got a contract with Sevilla till 2024. So yeah, in the summer transfer window, it's very imperative that we get the right players in that can get us to the next level and get us competing for the title. Like I said to you earlier, can Solskjaer lead Man United to a Premier League title? I'm very, very sceptical of it. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, so we haven't won it now for like 8 years. But like I've said, there is good players at Manchester United. And there's players that have really improved. Our two best players by far this season have been Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams. Luke Shaw's been player of the season by far. Luke Shaw showed good attacking intent. He's got into good positions. His crossing's been good. And he's just provided width, and defensively he's been good. Luke Shaw's had a good career at Man United apart from his injuries. He's been at the club over 6 years now. Still remains our first choice left back despite the arrival of Alex Telles. We're set to offer Luke Shaw a new contract reflecting on his good performances. Luke Shaw's got 2 years left on his current deal. And as for Bruno Fernandez, he is our best player and he's the best signing we have made since Ferguson retired. In most of Bruno Fernandez's games at Man United, he has been very, very consistent, but there's also been a few games where he has looked off the pace, but that's because we've been overplaying him. He's become fatigue. Bruno Fernandez has won Player of the Month now, quite a few times reflecting on his good performances. He's been at the club over the year. Don't forget he said on his 12-month anniversary that he's planning on spending many years at Man United, and he said he came to Manchester to win trophies. It said earlier on this season that Bruno Fernandez was refusing to sign a new contract until he had assurances over the club's transfer plans. He says we was willing to double his wages to £200,000 a week. Bruno Fernandez's current contract expires in 2025. There's an option to extend for a further 12 months. We initially paid £47 million for him, but the overall cost with add-ons is just over £67 million, and he predominantly plays as a number 10. Dean Henderson, I've been very, very impressed with him in the games he's been involved in this season. Dean Henderson makes very good saves. His distribution's good. He makes good aerial claims. And I've already said the club need to put Dean Henderson as number 1 now, because Dean Henderson is now reliable enough to become our number 1. He's got that experience behind him, and he did enjoy 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. So that's what got him the experience, and Henderson has started 6 games in a row for Man United. Eric Bay, I've been impressed with him in the games he's been involved in this season. He intercepts the ball well, shows the ability to play out from the back. He's also effective in the air, is Eric Bay. But my element of concern about him is injury prone, so in that aspect he is a liability. You can say Bay's lost his place in the team because he hasn't played for a while, and Bay has recently apologised to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his Man United teammates for his disrespectful behaviour. Because he actually said Bay was furious with Solskjaer the way he got disrespected and didn't feel wanted. And Bay believes we're only offering him a new contract to simply increase his asking price. Eric Bay has 15 months left on his current contract. Bay's been at the club since 2016. We paid around £30 million for him from Villarreal. And Wan-Bissaka, he's also a good right back. And he's done well in some games this season where he's actually got in good positions. His crossing's been quite good in some games. He's showed some good attacking intent, defensively being good. But he's always been defensively superb, more or less. But there's been some games where he hasn't been so good and he's been caught out far too many times and he's lacked that attacking intent. So he needs to show more attacking intent. We got Wan-Bissaka in a deal worth £50 million from Crystal Palace in the summer of 2019. Harry Maguire, he's done well in some games this season, where he showed the ability to play out from the back and he's been very effective in the air and he's looked good from set pieces and he's made some good clearances and defensively he's been good. But he's also enjoyed bad games. But either way, he wasn't worth the £80 million we got him for. He's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment and the second most expensive signing at the club. Lindelof, I've got my strong reservations about him, but to his credit, he's done well recently. And he can complement Harry Maguire in our back line here and there, but it's not persistent enough that Maguire and Lindelof complement each other. I think Bay looks better alongside Maguire than Lindelof, to be honest with you. We got Lindelof in a deal worth £31 million from Benfica, was it back in 2017? Scott McTominay, he's also a decent player. He's not at that level as yet. McTominay's still young and he's got a lot of development in him. Don't forget, was it just after the first lockdown last year, he signed a 5-year contract with Man United. Fred, now obviously he's been criticised a lot recently, reflecting on that abysmal performance he put out against Leicester in the FA Cup quarter-final. Gave the ball away countless times and he was accountable for Leicester's first goal. Probably was his worst game in a Man United shirt. Fred wasn't worth the £52 million that we got him for from Shakhtar Donetsk, and he's not on that level as yet. I've just said the same thing regarding Scott McTominay. Paul Pogba, I've been very, very impressed with him in recent months because we've been getting the best out of him, and obviously delivered the goods in Milan, came off the bench, scored the goal and made an instant impact. Paul Pogba is an imperative player, and I think we need to keep him potentially past the summer because he brings creativity to the team. Disregarding Pogba, we lack creativity and we are far too defensive. We need to keep Paul Pogba on that left wing, in more of an advanced role because that's where he's more effective. He has just come back from a thigh injury not so long ago. Donnie Van Der Beek, he's also a good player when he plays, but he seldom plays. Most of Donnie Van Der Beek's appearances have come from the bench when he's played. He's only started 2 games in the league this season. He suffered another setback in his career recently because he was an unused substitute in Netherlands 4-2 defeat to Turkey in Istanbul. And Mark Hughes has been talking about him recently, saying he feels lost at Man United and he's edging closer to a Man United exit. Mason Greenwood, I've been very, very impressed with him since he broke into our first team squad. Marcus Rashford, he's done good, but he can endure his bad periods. Marcus Rashford is actually out with injury at the moment. And Edison Cavani, he's made a fantastic impact since he's come in. So a lot of players have improved, and there's players that can play well and play poorly. But analysing that squad, it's good enough to finish in the top 4, but at the moment it's obviously not good enough to win the league, so that's why we need more signings. We're going to sell quite a few players, I think, in the summer transfer window. We could sell a good 7 or 8 players, maybe. Good chance Mata's going to go. Cavani's probably going to go. A lot of United fans are saying we need to sell Martial. Pogba could still go, but I don't want him to go in the summer transfer window. There's a good chance we'll sell Matic because he isn't one of our first choice midfielders. Will we sell Fred? Jones, I think he should go. Get rid of Romero. Good chance we'll sell David De Gea. You know, do you think we'll sell Eric Bailly? Good chance Donnie Van Der Beek's going to go. So imagine we sold all them players, would generate a substantial amount, and it'd help us with our rebuilding process. I think we'll be looking to get rid of Lingard and Diego Dalot permanently as well. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.